Okay, WWE Clash of Champions. Not Clash of the Champions, Clash of Champions. The first Raw pay-per-view since the brand split, or the return of the brand split. And I'm going to start off with a little bit of a caveat. Do you think maybe the kickoff shows for the single brand pay-per-views, like, I understand if you want to do it for, you want the longer shows for, like, Survivor Series or Royal Rumble, or of course Mania, but for the single brand pay-per-views, do you think the kickoff show should maybe just be like a half an hour long and not an hour? I think it would help tighten things up just a little bit, because there was a lot of meandering during that. In fact, it was about 45 minutes until the kickoff show match came up. Now, granted, it was Nia Jax versus Alicia Fox, and the match was not very long, but I think it would help kind of build into it a little bit more if the kickoff show were shorter. Anyway, the first match was Nia Jax versus Alicia Fox. Right away, Fox went on the attack. She hit a big drop kick, but eventually Nia Jax just grabbed Alicia and slammed her into the turnbuckle. Jax locked on kind of a half Nelson sleeper hold, kind of the $1 Million Dream, a little bit of a variation on that. Alicia got in a couple more bits of offense. She hit a splash into a turnbuckle. She hit another drop kick. She hit a crossbody, got a quick 2 count. But eventually Jax hit a big Samoan drop and got the 3 count. No real shock here. I think everyone pretty much had Nia Jax pegged to win this. The match was good in the sense that it made Nia Jax look powerful, and I think that was the point. So kudos there. Alright, our second match of the night, the Raw Tag Team title match. New Day versus Anderson and Gallows, or the Club, or whatever they're called now. Right off the bat, Anderson Gallows went on the offensive. They weren't doing their comedy shtick anymore. They were going right for the attack. Gallows came out and took down Big E with a big lariat outside the ring. This distracted Kofi enough for Anderson to hit Kofi with a Liger bomb and got a 2 count. Gallows then went out and dropped Anderson with a quick big boot. Not Anderson, Xavier Woods with a big boot. Eventually Big E managed to get back in and hit 3 belly-to-belly suplexes on Anderson. Big E would try to do his spear through the ropes. Anderson countered that with a kick. The Club hit the Boot of Doom and got a 2 count. Kofi broke up the pin. New Day hit a Trouble in Paradise into a big ending and only got a 2 count. Eventually there kind of got to be this big schmoz. They went for the Magic Killer. Kofi kind of fought out of it. And then Kofi did a big top rope move that distracted the ref enough to not notice Xavier crawling in, quite crawling into the ring, climbing up on the ring apron and hitting Anderson with Francesca 2. The New Day then hit the Midnight Hour for the 3 count and the victory. New Day retains the Tag Team Championships. And, you know, I like New Day as an act. They're fine. They're over. I think it's high time they finally drop these belts. You know, maybe they'll probably drop them on Raw tonight. Give them the even 400-day reign. But it just, again, at some point they've got to lose these belts. It looked like Anderson and Gallows are a serious badass tag team again. They probably should have won these belts now. It would have probably helped elevate the titles a little bit. Instead, it just kind of provided a bit of a drag. Okay, our next matchup is the WWE Cruiserweight Championship match. TJ Perkins versus Brian Kendrick. Early on, they tried to continue for the Cruiserweight Classic, doing the Ring of Honor pre-match handshake thing, which Kendrick basically abstained from. Early on, Perkins hit a couple of twisting head scissors. Kendrick managed to dodge a Perkins top rope move and got Perkins tangled up in the ring apron, allowing Kendrick to beat him up for a while. Kendrick tried a few different submission holds early on, and then there was a point where they had a thing set up in the corner. I think they were trying to do kind of a rebound into a neck breaker, kind of like the zigzag finisher that Dolph Ziggler uses. Unfortunately, Perkins didn't quite get enough of a grip, and it looked really awkward. Perkins did hit a top rope Hurricane Rana, which sent both he and Kendrick out of the ring. They got back in. They eventually fought back into the ring, barely beating the 10 count. Kendrick, Perkins went for a 450 splash. Kendrick rolled out of the way. This allowed Kendrick to try to lock on the captain's hook, but Perkins countered that and got in the rolling knee bar. Kendrick managed to fight out of that, hit the sliced bread for the 2 count. Eventually, they got a series of moves. Perkins locked on the knee bar, and Kendrick eventually tapped out. After the match, Kendrick shook Perkins' hand, gave him a hug, and then headbutted him. So you get a definitive heel now, at least, for the Cruiserweight division. This was a really good match. It was kind of nice to see a Cruiserweight match that wasn't entirely based on the high flying. Because I think that happens a lot when people assume Cruiserweight wrestling. You could have good ground level Cruiserweight wrestling too. Obviously, someone like Dean Malenko was a really great submission wrestler. He didn't rely a lot on aerial moves. Sorry, I thought my phone went off for a second there. Chris Jericho, too, was a guy who, while he did have a lot of aerial maneuvers in there, he still had a lot of mat-based wrestling in there, too. And so it was kind of nice to get a little variety and not just a bunch of high spots. Okay, that leads us into our next match. The final match, I guess, we'll get to it, in the best of 7, well, match 7 at least, Cesaro versus Sheamus. Right away, Sheamus opened up with a big series of punches. Cesaro countered a flying shoulder block with a European uppercut, knocking Sheamus out of the ring. At one point, Cesaro was trying for a top rope move. Sheamus got up and hit a leg sweep, which caused Cesaro to fall out of the ring. Sheamus hit a tilt-a-whirl slam for a 2 count. Cesaro hit a tornado DDT for a 2 count. And then came what might go down as the move of the night for all the wrong reasons. We have Cesaro trying to hit a 619. I mean, he did kind of hit it. He managed to pull it off, but it was not the... If you see the Rey Mysterio version of the move, where he runs full speed, swings through the ropes, and hits the thing with relative ease. That didn't happen. Cesaro very carefully made his way to the ropes and very slowly slid through them. It didn't quite take. Anyway, Sheamus rallied back, locked on a cloverleaf, but Cesaro managed to counter out of that and get a roll-up for a 2 count. Cesaro did the swing and then tried to lock on the sharpshooter again. Cesaro was still selling a back injury, so it looked... He couldn't quite lock in the sharpshooter enough to get Sheamus to tap out. Sheamus made it to the ropes rather easily. Cesaro then went for a suicide dive and landed headfirst on the concrete outside. Well, not the concrete, but the mat around the ring. Sheamus then hit a bro kick inside the ring for a 2 count. They battled outside the ring again. Cesaro hit a neutralizer and got a 2 count. Sheamus hit a big boot, knocking Cesaro onto the ring apron. Then Sheamus did a top rope move. I guess he was trying to go for like an axe handle or something from the top rope to the outside of the ring, but Cesaro countered that with a European uppercut. Sheamus hit the white noise on the outside of the ring. Cesaro then clotheslined Sheamus into the crowd, and at that point, both men became injured, and the ref just decided to stop the match there. For the most part, this was a good match. I know Mick Foley in particular has been defending the ending a bit on social media. I don't mind the idea of doing that for the ending and maybe saving the 7th match for, say, Hell in a Cell at the end of October. But my one qualm with that is, if you're going to do something like that, have them both be, like, knocked unconscious. It'd just be completely out. What happened was they were knocked out of the ring, and they're kind of unconscious for a couple minutes, and then they started to rally back up and get up. But the ref just turned at that point and rung the bell. It looks like they were still kind of able to fight. If you're going to do that, if you're going to have the match end in a no contest like that, like I said, just have them be unconscious and then have the doctors come down and check on them and, you know, have the ref ring the bell while they're both unconscious. And that way it looks a little bit better. Okay, our next matchup is Sami Zayn versus Chris Jericho. Starting things off, they did a lot of punch kicking to open the matchup. Zayn eventually hit a running clothesline outside of the ring. He then hit a moonsault off of the barricade onto Jericho. Jericho used the ref as a shield and then hit a springboard dropkick. Jericho hit a flying elbow for a 2 count. Zayn countered a running bulldog and sent Jericho into the turnbuckle. Zayn hit a top rope, a tope con hilo, a suicide plancha onto Jericho to the outside of the ring. Zayn hit a Michinoku driver for a 2 count. Zayn hit his tornado TDT through the ropes, but Jericho managed to block it just enough so that Zayn actually took the brunt of the move. Zayn countered a code breaker into an exploder suplex. Zayn went for a haluva kick. Jericho countered the haluva kick into the walls of Jericho. Zayn managed to get out of it. He hit a blue thunder bomb. He then went for another haluva kick, but Jericho managed to counter out of that into a roll up again. Jericho then kind of managed to sell a brief injury just long enough to lull Zayn in and hit him with a code breaker for the 3 count and the win. Solid match. Obviously, both guys are really good performers. I wholly expect that at some point they'll probably do the next match and Zayn will get his win back. Don't know how long it's going to last. Hopefully only one more match after this. Like I said, it was an alright match. I'm not going to complain too much about it. Alright, the next matchup is the Raw Women's Championship Triple Threat match. Charlotte versus Sasha Banks versus Bayley. Immediately, Sasha and Charlotte began fighting. Bayley just kind of stayed to the outside until there was a point where Charlotte kind of knocked Sasha out of the ring. And then Bayley intercedes, but then Sasha got back into the ring and she and Bayley started fighting. Bayley did a springboard into an arm drag. Dana Brooke was at ringside and she went after Bayley a couple times and allowed Charlotte to start attacking Sasha. Bayley eventually made her way back into the ring and began attacking both women with splashes into the corner. Sasha hit the double knees onto Bayley from the outside of the ring. Sasha kicked out of the figure 8, which allowed Bayley to hit Bayley to belly on Charlotte for a 2 count. Sasha locked on the bank statement, but Dana Brooke kind of pulled Charlotte. This is confusing. Sorry. Let me try this again. Sasha locked on the bank statement. Dana pulled Charlotte, but then Dana pulled her out of the ring. Bayley got back in. Sasha locked the bank statement on Bayley. Charlotte broke it up. Eventually, the shenanigans of Dana Brooke on the outside of the ring enabled Charlotte to hit 2 big boots on Bayley, then covered Bayley for the 3 count and the win. Charlotte retains. Okay, sorry for the breakup there. A little bit of a problem there. 1, it was a hard match to kind of summarize, and 2, I was a little thirsty, so I needed a quick drink. Anyway, the match itself was entertaining. I do like triple threat matches. I actually prefer the ECW way, where it's an elimination match and not just one pinfall to decide the thing. But not quite as good as the WrestleMania match, but a good solid match. All 3 women are great performers, so again, solid. Not going to complain too much about that. Alright, our second to last match of the evening, the United States Championship match, Rusev versus Roman Reigns. And I did talk about this on Facebook, but right off at the beginning of the match, Michael Cole said, winning the United States title could put Roman Reigns on the road to greatness. Roman Reigns is a Royal Rumble winner and a 3-time world champion. I think he's already on the road to greatness. I think Michael Cole meant to say back on the road to greatness, which would certainly make a bit more sense. Anyway, not much to really say about this match. There's some good points, but Rusev and Reigns brawled outside the ring a lot. They both sent each other into the ring steps. Rusev countered a Superman punch with a Savate kick. Reigns countered a Savate kick with a Superman punch, got a 2 count. Reigns countered an accolade into a spear. It's that point that Lana pulled the ref out of the ring. Lana interfered at another point in the match, allowing Rusev to try to get the upper hand. The ref had enough and basically kicked Lana out and sent her to the back. But that enabled Rusev to lock on the accolade, but Roman managed to power his way out of it. Rusev went for another Savate kick. Reigns countered that, hit a spear for the 3 count. Your new United States champion and the only title change we've had so far, Roman Reigns. Alright, and that leads us to our final match, the main event of the evening, the WWE Universal Championship match. Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. Right as the bell rings, Owens tried to just slide out of the ring and started to walk away. Rollins kind of played into it a little bit, but he managed to get his hands on Owens and whipped him right into the barricade. Rollins then hit a flying knee from the ring apron. Rollins then hit a blockbuster and only got a 1 count on it. Owens kicked Rollins in the hamstring and then hit a DDT, got a 2 count. Owens then backbody dropped Rollins out of the ring. Rollins fell, tweaked his knee, was selling that he hurt his knee, and Owens literally sits there on the ring apron and starts kind of sarcastic going, "Is he okay? Is he okay? You need to check him, ref. You need to check him." At that point, Owens then hit a running elbow drop from the ring apron. Eventually, they got back into the ring. Rollins began to fight back. He hit a sling blade and followed it with a couple corner splashes. Owens countered out of a pedigree and kicked Rollins once more in the knee. Owens then hit his counter ball, went for his power bomb, but Rollins fought out of it, sorry. Owens hit a super kick, which Rollins followed with a spin kick. Both men were down. Owens got up and managed to hit a frog splash for a 2 count. They got to the outside of the ring. Owens tried to do a running senton onto the German announce table, but Rollins rolled out of the way. Rollins got Owens back in the ring, hit a frog splash, and got a 2 count. It's at this point that Chris Jericho came down to the ring and began distracting Rollins and the ref. Owens hit a power bomb, got a 2 count on it. Rollins then threw Owens into Jericho, hit the pedigree, covered Owens, but Jericho just managed to reach up and grab Owens' foot and pull it onto the bottom rope. So that didn't count. At that point, Owens went for his pop-up powerbomb. Rollins managed to just leapfrog out of it. Unfortunately, coming back down, he took the ref out, knocked the ref unconscious. Jericho then got in the ring and began attacking Rollins. A little bit more action happened. Eventually, Rollins managed to throw Owens into Jericho. He hit the pedigree, covered him, except the ref was still out. So Rollins gets grabs the ref, tries to get him back up. Eventually, Stephanie and Mick Foley come down with another ref. Another ref gets in the ring. Unfortunately, by that point, Owens had gotten back up, hits the pop-up powerbomb on Rollins for the 3 count and the victory. Overall, a really enjoyable match because you have a strong heel in Owens. Rollins, not quite as strong a babyface yet. He's still doing some heelish actions, but they're understandable heelish actions, so that's okay. Jericho coming down and helping out Owens was entertaining. Obviously, I think a lot of people probably wanted Triple H, and I think that's did kind of hinder the match a bit. Other than that, though, I guess they're planting the seeds for possibly Rollins turning on Steph and Mick Foley. I don't know if that means he's going to be still a face or he's just going to kind of be, I hesitate to use the term, he's going to be like Stone Cold, or is he just going to kind of be his own man and not try to rely on anyone else? Don't really know. Does lead for further possibilities. Again, there's probably going to be a rematch at Hell in a Cell, maybe a Hell in a Cell match. Don't know if, because again, the winner of the best of 7 series between Sheamus and Cesaro is supposed to be a #1 contender for a belt of some kind. Whether that's the U.S. title or the Universal title, I don't know. But, again, like I said, if you move that final match also to Hell in a Cell, and then, have another Owens-Rollins match at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, that could work out fine, and then move that on into the Survivor Series. Actually, I think overall I'm going to give this show an A. I mean, really there was only one match I think that was really overall disappointing, and that was that tag team match because, again, I think it's time we finally got the belts off a New Day. Maybe, again, obviously I'm recording this on a Monday. It'll be up. It'll probably be up at somewhere around 1 o'clock. Yeah, I know it's late for that. The new video editing software is... it's good, but it does take a long time to render videos. A video for this length, which is going to be about 25 to 30 minutes, it's going to take about an hour, 20 minutes to render. Whereas a video of this length in Pinnacle only took about roughly 20 to 25 minutes to render. Anyway, sorry, a little off topic there. Like I said, the show really only had one bad match. Obviously, next video... Well, actually, now that I think about it, Luke Cage premieres on Netflix this week. Might not get to it this week. It might be later towards... it might even be next Monday I talk about that. Anyway, sorry again. So maybe the next wrestling video is going to be No Mercy. That'll be held on October 9th, but I'll probably be watching it on October 10th, so it'll be up then. October 9th is when the Conan and the Frost Giant's Daughter review will be up. See you all then.